Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and of course, Strange New Worlds Season 4, the penultimate season, is meant to be dropping sometime this summer. And of course, we know that it's going to feature puppets and stupid crap like that. So, it's going to be more of the same. But they are trying to say, oh no, it's going to be more classic Star Trek, which they've been saying since the very first episode of Discovery dropped way back in 2017. But how are they trying to convince people it's going to be classic? Well, they're saying Strange New World Season 4 promises classic episodes alongside, and this is the key part, bold new experiments. That's right. Now, we've heard a bit of this before, where they've talked about they want to go in this bold direction and blah blah blah. But now that some of it is getting referred to as experiments, that right there is absolutely insane. And what they're trying to say about how they want to structure the show for season 4 is just mind-boggling, because they knew they were ending after season 5, but this idea now that they're trying to say, oh, we wanted to do big bold things because we didn't know what was going to happen. So this article starts off by saying, since the conclusion of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, things have been relatively quiet for fans of the long-running sci-fi franchise. That quiet period will soon come to an end with the arrival of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 4, which is currently expected to premiere this summer. As anticipation builds, what anticipation? New details are beginning to emerge about what the next chapter of the series will bring. In a recent interview with Trek Movie, this is the interview that we covered before, but there seems to be a few new things added in this article. So, co-showrunner Henry Alonso Myers shared some insight into the creative direction behind the upcoming season. According to Myers, the team approached Season 4 with a sense of uncertainty about what the future might hold, which ultimately encouraged them to take bigger creative swings. Rather than sticking strictly to familiar territory, they focused on exploring ideas that had not yet been attempted within the Star Trek universe. Right there, before we even go on to what the idiot said, which we did cover before, but he's added a few things to it by the looks of it. The idea that, we approached it with the sense of, well, we don't actually know what the future is. Do we get a season 5 and 6 and blah, blah, blah. So with that, they were like, let's just swing for the fences. Let's fans be damned, franchise be damned. Let's do what the hell we want to do. Let's just go nuts. Let's just insert Michael Keaton right here, shall we?
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Yeah, because they wanted to get nuts. How do you know that season 4 and 5 is your final seasons? You've been telling fans constantly, year after year after year after year, oh, don't worry, this season is going to be the classic Trek that you love and expect to see. And now you've turned around after saying it again and gone, well, actually, it's going to be more of an experiment for our show. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to actually do classic Trek. We're going to do experiments. That's what kind of episodes we're going to do. So here is what Alonso said. We looked at season 4 and we didn't know what our future was going to be. So we were like, what are things that we have never tried that we want to try? What is Star Trek that hasn't been done that we could do? Like, the whole point of doing Strange New Worlds is to visit some strange new worlds. Every one of the episodes is strange, new, and different. We want to try some things with Star Trek that is familiar to Star Trek lovers, but also fresh, new, different, explosive. We just want to go for something. So that is what he had said. Now, I remember the end of that quote that he said in one of the other videos. I don't remember him saying we looked at season 4 as we didn't know what the future was. Maybe he did, I can't remember. But the idea that they approached this with, hey, we don't know whether or not our show could be cancelled or not, even though they did know, which just makes no sense. So let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Because, you know, that's a great idea to try and convince the studio to keep you around, isn't it? You know, David Ellison's going to sit there and look at this season and kind of go, what in the name of Christ is this mess? Like, nothing in this represents Star Trek. Well, what the hell were you doing? And they're going, oh, well, we wanted to do experiments and, you know, do things we never done before and has never been done before and stuff like that. It's like, what? What are you talking about? But I love this part of this article because it just shows you how everything Alonso just said is bullshit in the first place. Because they said that philosophy has become a defining trait of Strange New Worlds. So they're trying to say all the stuff that's never been done before, and they're like, yeah, this is the whole thing that's defined the whole series of Strange New Worlds, is that they've done all this weird crap that's never been done that isn't reflected off Star Trek at all. I think that's hilarious. And it says, and season 4 looks set to continue that tradition in a big way. Last year, Paramount gave fans a sneak peek at one of season 4's episodes that will portray the crew of the USS Enterprise as puppets, created in collaboration with the legendary Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And here's the problem. The guy who directed the puppet episode... Now, it says there's an episode from season 2 that I don't remember at all. I couldn't care. It just gives the name. But from season 3, Wedding Bell Blues and 4.5 Vulcans. 2 of the worst episodes. The guy who directed that has made and directed the episode with the puppets. The Wedding Bell Blues is the one where Spock decided to go all basically turned into a cook, really, because of Chapel going to get married to the other guy, and it was the one that reintroduced the what was he called? I almost had his name. I can't remember his name. The guy who's like a Q, who Q actually did the voice. John DeLance did the voice of this thing's father at the end, which was like, oh god. And of course, 4.5 Vulcans. That was the episode where Pike and her and stuff become Vulcans, and then they constantly took the piss out of Spock because he's only half Vulcan. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. So this idea that they keep telling us we're going back to classic Trek, it's going to be the Trek you know and love and all that stuff with just, you know, a couple of episodes, even though they said that after the first promotion for season 4 was the puppet, which had everyone going, what the fuck is this? And now they've turned around and said, oh no, it's going to be classic Trek. Well, not really, because we decided to do experiments and just go in a completely different direction because we knew we were cancelled, so we just threw every piece of shit at the wall and tried to see what would stick. So it's going to be an incoherent mess by the sounds of things. So, as I said at the start, and as it says on the thumbnail, it's more the same. You know, the more things change, the more it stays the exact same when it comes to these idiots and the thing they call Star Trek. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for Strange New Worlds Season 4? Yeah, right. But let me know what you think about all this, especially the fact that they are now referring to Season 4 as experiments for episodes. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.